The following Spanish class is brought to you by Metro Floors, where you can find quality flooring made affordable. Voted Antelope Valley's best for 23 years, Metro Floors also has an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Metro Floors, simply the best. All right, class. So last week we finished up pronunciation of all the consonants. Today we are going to talk about accentuation, as well as expand a little bit on the topic of diphthongs and hiatus. Accentuation refers to placing intensity or stress on a particular syllable or of a word. This takes place in both English and Spanish. Such intensity can change the meaning of a word. Take a look at the following examples. The first one, our English example, is the proceeds, meaning earnings, versus he proceeds, which refers to continuing. Sadly, in English, we don't have any type of written accent mark to show which one is which. We have to know based on context. Spanish, however, does not leave it to context. If you see our Spanish example, it says el pago, which is the payment, and él pagó, he paid. You will also notice they are spelt the same, but there are accent marks to differentiate the el of the and the el of he, and also adding the accent mark over the o of pagó, it puts it into the preterite past tense. This accent mark also causes the word to be pronounced differently. You noticed that it was el pago versus el pagó. The only English words with accent marks are those borrowed from other languages, such as café and fiancé. The accent marks, called tildes, are very useful in Spanish, and their rules are very easy to learn. In Spanish, the stress or intensity is not always expressed with an accent mark. In fact, the majority don't have accent marks. The intensity can be placed on any one of the last 4 syllables of a word. Each of these 4 options have specific rules. The written accent mark is only used when a word defies the following rules. Words whose intensity is on the last syllable are known as aguda. These words end in a consonant other than N or S. Take a look at the following examples. None of them have an accent mark or tilde written above any of the letters, yet they're all pronounced on the last syllable because they follow this rule. They all end in a consonant other than an N or an S. Listen to how they are pronounced. Salud, universidad, hotel, comer, pagar, venir. The last example is the example of a tilde override, as I like to call it. You notice the word lápiz ends in a Z. That is another consonant other than N or S. Therefore, the word lápiz should be pronounced lápiz, but it has an accent over the A, so it voids the previous rule and is always pronounced lápiz. Great, now let's move on to the next type of word. Remember, the written accent mark is only used when a word defies the following rules. Words whose intensity is on the second to last syllable are known as llana. So recall from the last part that if it were on the last syllable, it was aguda. If it's on the second to last syllable, it is known as llana. And words that are llana have their own rules. These words end in a vowel, an N, or an S. So notice the following examples. You will see that they all end in either a vowel, an N, or an S, causing the second to last syllable in that word to be stressed. Now you will notice that some of these words look similar to the words from the last page. They are pronounced saludable, universitaria, hoteles, comen, pagamos, vengo. We also have a tilde override. Using the same example we spoke about earlier on, the word pagó, which refers to he or she or it paid, ends in a vowel. So it looks like it should be a llana word, right? But it's pronounced pagó, with the stress on the last syllable, causing it to be aguda. That change occurs because there is an accent mark over the O, causing the intensity to be on the O instead of on the A, where it would be normally if the accent mark weren't there. So now for a quick review. A word that is aguda ends in a consonant other than an N or an S, and the intensity of that word is found on the last syllable. Next we have words that are llana, and llana words end in a vowel or an N or S, and the intensity of those words is found on the second to last syllable. Now we are going to move on to words whose intensity is on the third to last syllable. These are known as estrújula. These words can end in any vowel or consonant because they must be expressed with a tilde, which, if you recall, is the accent mark. Take a look at the following examples. You will notice that every single one of those words has an accent mark over a vowel. Words that are estrújula have to be expressed with an accent mark. The following examples are pronounced miércoles, íntegro, brújula, estrújula. If the accent mark were not written, you would pronounce miércoles like miércoles. And since that is not how it is pronounced, you have to put an accent mark over the E. Words whose intensity is on the fourth to last syllable are known as sobreestrújula. This type of word is only created when a verb is conjugated as a positive command and has added to its end both the direct and indirect object pronouns. Notice the following examples all contain accent marks. The first one is pronounced escríbaselo. The second, póngasela. The last, cárgamelo. Not to worry, we will get into more detail on the indirect and direct object pronouns in Spanish in another video. Words that are sobreestrújula are the least common, but of course they do exist and therefore I teach it. Moving on now, I wish I could simply teach all of the rules for syllable division, but it is too complex for a class at this level. However, I will expand a little on the lesson from Season 1, Episode 1, the vowels. In Spanish, there are both strong and weak vowels. The following is the rule. You and I are weak. That is kind of a humbling rule, right? You and I are weak. A, O, and E are strong. Two consecutive strong vowels create two syllables. Two consecutive weak vowels create one syllable. One weak vowel plus one strong vowel equals one syllable. Not to worry, I have examples. I like to think of this in terms of friendship. Two strong vowels cannot be friends because they constantly compete with each other. However, two weak vowels stay together in one syllable in the hopes of finding strength in numbers. Likewise, one strong vowel and one weak vowel can be friends because there is no competition between them, and the weak one wants the strong one to look out for him. In order to give some examples, we need to discuss what diphthongs are, which in Spanish is called diphthongos. So what are diphthongs? Diphthongs consist of two vowel sounds that join together to create one syllable, i.e., two weak vowels or one weak and one strong vowel. The vowels that can be friends. Let's see the following examples. Let's see example number 1. Two weak vowels. Cuidado, ciudad. Note that the second weak vowel is pronounced more fully than the first. Cuidado, ciudad. Moving on to example number 2. One weak and one strong. Pienso, puerta, piojo, ciego, jaula, 6. You will see that the words from example 2 are broken into syllables below. Pienso, puerta, piojo, ciego, jaula, and finally 6 as a single syllable. So we spoke that when vowels are friends, they create only one syllable. But what happens if the vowels are not friends? If they are two strong vowels? This forms what in English is called hiatus, or in Spanish, hiato. This is a brief separation between the two vowels, causing two syllables. Two consecutive strong vowel sounds, causing the syllable to break between them, make two syllables. This is important. If a tilde is written over a weak vowel, it becomes a strong vowel. Take a look at the following examples. Two strong vowels. Maestro, mareo, baúl, increíble. Notice below that we have once again separated the words into syllables. Maestro, mareo, baúl, increíble. Don't forget to practice. Subscribe to our Metroflores YouTube channel to stay up to date with free Spanish class videos. Thank you for watching. Until next time, Viva Metroflores.